So, Wolves is a new buddy action comedy film written and directed by Jon Watts, in which we follow two fixers portrayed by George Clooney and Brad Pitt, who are called to do the same job. However, when they investigate further on that said job, their situation, let's just say, gets complicated. Before I continue on with today's video, I just wanted to say, welcome to my channel, everybody. For those of you who are coming back to my channel for the very first time, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future video, or it's a future review, reaction, top 5, or whatever I have coming your way, and join me on my journey to 10k subscribers and beyond, because believe me when I say this, guys, you are not gonna miss the cool shit I have coming your way. And for those of you who are coming back to my channel, welcome back. You have no idea how happy I'm to see your faces once again. Alrighty guys, so let's get into WOLFS.
Excellent!
WOLFS was a movie that before I saw this movie, I gotta tell you all, I really didn't have that much interest nor intrigue in this movie, even though it was starring the likes of, let's say, Brad Pitt and George Clooney, and not to mention it as well, that was written and directed by Jon Watts, the guy who just came up of making that excellent Spider-Man trilogy. But even with all those names attached, it was a movie that I felt like, you know what, I could really just see or nod to this movie. It might not be the end of the world if I pass up this movie. And plus, the trailer, well, it looked like it might be a fun movie. I was like, okay, maybe this could be fun, or it could be just generic as all can be. And guys, I gotta tell y'all, I'm happy to say that I had a really good time with WOLFS. Getting into the reason to see this movie, that is because of George Clooney and Brad Pitt, who are, honest to God, the things that carry this movie. Whether it comes to their banter, their insults, their back and forth, seriously. WOLFS is literally the I almost said George Pitt, what the... George Clooney and Brad Pitt. Because if you guys have seen the trailer, you will all know that essentially this movie kind of makes a joke in which Brad Pitt and George Clooney characters are essentially not really one and the same, but they kind of talk the same way, they work in the same wavelength, almost, even though there are some differences in how they work, but nonetheless, WOLFS has a really good running gag of how George Clooney and Brad Pitt work together, and there are some really good, and to be quite frank, some really funny bits. But another reason why this movie works as well as it does is because of, well, Jon Watts' writing and directing. Jon Watts, I think, did a great job of writing some really quippy and some really just entertaining dialogue, period. There are so many bits of this movie where just because of the back and forth banter and the dialogue and some certain bits of where they're going to and how they explain certain bits, again, I don't want to give too much away because really there's a lot of really cool stuff that happens in WOLFS. Would WOLFS probably be entertaining to a point? Yes, but at the same time, the performances along with the writing and directing are the reason why WOLFS works on such an entertainment value, such an entertainment factor as well. There are jokes in this movie that certainly came out of nowhere that had me laughing really hard. There are bits in this movie where it gets some really dark humor right in there, and it was really good. I also have to talk about the ending of this movie. Now, obviously no spoilers, but how this movie wraps up, pretty freaking well done.
Well, that's just fucking great!
Now, as y'all can imagine, is WOLFS without its flaws? Absolutely not. WOLFS is a pretty predictable movie. Now, is WOLFS predictable throughout its runtime? No, but I will say there are some bits that will be like, oh, this is obviously going to happen, this is most definitely going to happen, and this is most obviously going to happen. I mean, I could see this coming from a mile away. There are many things that you've seen in WOLFS that WOLFS has pretty much emulated, or it takes inspiration from other buddy action films out there. I mean, there's just no getting around that. Something else I gotta mention, and this has nothing to do with the movie per se, but it's something that I have heard and they have confirmed it, and that is that WOLFS is up to have a sequel. Does it really need a sequel? I don't think so, but it's getting one. But really, where it ends up, WOLFS is a perfectly enjoyable one-off movie that just does not need a sequel.
And here we go.
So overall, I had a good time with WOLFS. It's a solid, fun buddy action comedy with two great performances from Brad Pitt and George Clooney. All in all, I'm gonna give WOLFS a 3.25 out of 5. Is WOLFS gonna be a game changer for buddy action comedy films out there? Probably no, but at the same time, if you're just looking for just a solid fun movie for a matinee showing at the movies, you cannot go wrong with WOLFS. I hope you enjoyed my review of WOLFS. If so, please hit the like button, or if you dislike the review, hit the dislike button. If you guys want to see my previous 2 reviews, please click right there or right there. And of course, until my next review or video goes live, I will see you all next time.